Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, where we look at the latest comics and other media featuring the Transformers. In this episode, we are returning to the Sacred Ring as we review Void Rivals number 10. We also have news on a video game collaboration and an update on the Transformers G.I. Joe movie. Today is Friday, June 28th, 2024, and this is episode 396 of Transmissions Alt Mode.
Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, the podcast that knows when vanquishing an enemy, it's always best practice to put two in their head just to be safe. I'm your host, Daryl, the Cybertronian Beast, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team, Jeremy, aka Yakko.
Hey, how's it going?
And Scott, the illustrious Dr. Pants.
It's called a double tap. Let's talk Transformers.
Yes, it is. All right. We are going to start the show off by talking about our Donatreons. And we are going to start off by saying we got a new one. Welcome to the club, Lee. And we are very happy to have you. And get into the show and chat with us here. Friendly reminder to everybody. Our Discord channel is not a pay to play. Anybody can jump into our Discord. So get in on that. It's a fun place to hang out and chat. It's pretty active with a bunch of really cool people sharing a lot of fun stuff about Transformers and other things. Welcome, Lee. Hope you find it enjoyable, and looking forward to hearing from you. All of our other Donatreon exclusives. So for anyone else on the Discord that is a Donatreon, you can see that we've got some excellent Patreon bonuses out there, like the show We Like Big Bots. And we released a new episode last week, and it is episode 13 on Ultra Magnus. And if you are looking to learn a little bit more about some Ultra Magnus figures, then Dr. Pants and I have your back. We had some pretty fun chats about Ultra Magnus. There were some fun figures that I think we had. I'm not sure if I mentioned it last week. I wasn't sure if Dr. Pants had known about the one that I had, but definitely I don't know if he had seen it in person. So it was kind of fun to kind of get that one out and kind of mess around with. And then there was another one that I had, and I knew that it was a G1 based, but it also came with gum. So that was kind of fun to mess around with.
I've got that one.
Yeah, so that was a fun one as well. So so we got a bunch of figures of Ultra Magnus to chat about in episode 13 of Big Bots. Also, for our Donatreons, we've got the season 3 episode of Empire of Rust continues with number 118, and that is episode untitled at this point. So there you go. So take a look for that, episode 118. And if you are wondering what the episode title is, message Mike. He will know what the title is. Come on, Mike, tell us the title. So look for that in your podcast feed, and it will be available on July 1st. We've got some more comics available. So this is our Transformers number 1 from Skybound, the exclusive Transmissions podcast cover with art by EJ Sue. This comic, last time we checked, is going for $40 US. We're selling it for $15. Are we idiots, or are we just giving you a good deal? Either way.
Not both.
There you go.
6 of one, half a dozen of another.
Yeah. So either way, it's available. We've got a few left. Get in there and get some comics. We had a big sale this week. Sold a bunch of them. So somebody out there is seeing that there's profit potential. Get in there and get some comics, and send some off to CGC or something like that. Either way, there's some some comics to get and make a little bit of cash on. So there you go. And what's next? Oh, Toy Hacks. Yes. So we've got a Toy Hacks gift code. This will be the last episode of the month for this code, but this will come out and you'll have a couple days left to use it, but you could save 15% at toyhacks.com with the code DADBOTS. And so if you want some stickers or labels or gear or 3D printed stuff, go to Toy Hacks, check out what they have, and use the code DADBOTS to save 15% on your purchase. And the code can be used with your RoboPoints, but cannot be combined with any other offers or discounts or promotions. So there you go. All right. So now that we got that out of the way, let's move on to we usually start off. We got a review for today, but we're going to start off with media news.
All right, so first up in media news, we have the Transformers Compendium Volume 1 was officially announced by Skybound. So Skybound, who officially has the Transformers comics now, is putting together a compendium. This Volume 1 is going to collect all of the Marvel Transformers comics issues 1 through 44, plus the Headmasters issues 1 through 4. This is already up on Amazon to pre-order. It is actually currently listed for less than $60. The actual price is supposed to be $65, but there's a bit of a deal, and it should be coming out in April of 2025. So if you want a good chance to grab the Marvel comics and read about 50 issues of it, there's your chance.
Yeah, and the cover art is by Daniel Warren Johnson.
There you go.
So it's really
very cool.
This is really, really cool. So if you've missed a chance, I mean, there's a lot of really good history in those Marvel comics, so it's a good chance to pick it up. Next up, we have a table read of Transformers More Than Meets the Eye Part 1, which is coming to Hasbro Pulse. And this is going to feature Frank Welker, Peter Cullen, along with, I'm going to butcher this name, R.F. Kinchin. Anybody know if I'm right?
I think that's right.
Okay. And Frank Todaro. These two are voice actors, Arif being Jazz and Frank being Starscream, along with, they also do other characters. I think Frank does Wheeljack, Reflector, and Sparkplug.
I think so.
Also. Yeah. But so there will be a table read of this. This is June 28th.
This is what was in the theaters.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
releasing it now for everybody.
Right.
Yep.
Well, that's today, isn't it? That this comes out.
Mm-hmm.
And it releases at noon. And there also will be some time to chat with Arif and Frank at 11:30 Eastern Standard Time. If you get a chance, they'll be there to chat with everything. So make sure to go check that out. But that's pretty cool. Table read of the first episode there.
Cool.
We knew that they were going to put that out on YouTube, so they've done it.
Yeah. It also includes Dan Gilvezan and
Greg
Berger and who does the Perceptor's voice? I always forget his name.
Oh crap. I'm so bad with names. I didn't see any of that in the story because it just mentions
many more.
It just says many more.
Yes. Many more. Yes.
Yeah.
God, why can't I remember him?
Comment below who the voice of Perceptor was.
God, I'm so terrible.
It's okay. It's okay.
All right. Anyway, I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, I watched the video of that today. I'm like, this looks kind of fun.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a blast to see those people get back together, do the voices and everything. So we got the first ever game room powered by Hasbro opening at the American Dream Mall. So it's a game room powered by Hasbro. It was set to open for June 26th, so should have opened this past Wednesday. And it will feature arcade games, attractions, retail, and full-service dining, all based on Hasbro brands, such as G.I. Joe, Candyland. There's going to be a bunch of different eating places, and of course, there will be Transformers stuff there Also, so this is located in East Rutherford, New Jersey. So if you're on the East Coast, you want to give it a shot, go check it out. Could be really cool. I mean, how often do we see arcades around anymore in America?
This kind of seems like a Dave and Buster's type thing. Just Hasbro thing.
Yeah.
I think Namco has some similar ones. These are one in Chicago.
Maybe. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, I'm not too far from Jersey, and I've hit up Jersey in the past for various reasons. So maybe I'll get a chance to go and check it out. I just like to see what the Transformer stuff is.
Yeah, I think this is the same mall that did some promotion last year for the Rise of the Beast, I believe, or
maybe
or they did something, or maybe it was related to BotCon. I don't remember.
Time is an illusion, and I don't remember anything.
Yeah, it happened more than a day ago.
And next up, we have, this is kind of big, Overwatch 2 and Transformers collaboration. So Overwatch, big in the gaming scene. A lot of people playing Overwatch, streaming Overwatch. They, of course, dropped a trailer for their upcoming Season 11, which shows, of course, a bunch of the new cosmetics, the events, things that are going to be happening in Overwatch, new maps. And at the very end of the trailer, they showed off the Autobot insignia with that classic Transformers sound. And we don't know anything about it, but it shows that there's going to be some collaboration between Overwatch and Transformers. And as a person who plays video games frequently, I played the tiniest bit of Overwatch. But if you do this, I may play just a little bit more.
At least also, enough to play it on Nerdstradamus.
Enough to play it on Nerdstradamus. Also, apparently, there's a guy out there, guy, girl, I don't know, but somebody out there has the tag Swanky Pants playing on Overwatch, and I've heard about it more than once, and I'm going to say, I'm coming for you. I'm going to lose, but I'm coming for you.
Okay, this is a boomer question for sure, but is Overwatch like
it's a competitive shooter.
Okay. It's Blizzard, right?
What?
Is it like the other one that my kid plays all the time? Is it like the other one?
What's the other one your kid plays all the time?
Fortnite, yeah, that one.
This is more team-based. So you get a team of 5 people versus another team of 5 people, and it can either be whoever gets the most kills at the end wins, or there might be an objective where you have to get some item to a certain place in so long, or you have to capture like points on the map and hold them for so long. It's
more of your classic style shooter.
Kind of. It's what's called, I think, anymore a character shooter, because there are individual characters with special abilities that all have different roles in the game. You have defenders, you have healers, you have attackers, you have support, like all kinds of stuff like that.
Okay.
This is what I'm here for. And then lastly, oh boy, we love this guy, don't we? Lorenzo Di Bonaventura did an interview talking about Transformers G.I. Joe crossing over for a movie. And the highlights are that the story will keep in a small scale with not many characters. Is that what you want for a crossover?
Human characters?
I don't know what that means.
If he considers the characters to be humans and the Transformers to be props, then that could be good.
Well, it does say in the next point he's pushing to have 6 main characters between Transformers and G.I. Joe.
Ugh.
Mm-hmm. He confirms
5 G.I. Joes.
Oh, hold on, because I think we're figuring this out. Because he confirms that Chris Hemsworth has been contracted. His role is yet to be defined. Isn't Chris Hemsworth the voice of Optimus Prime in the new Transformers 1? Okay.
Yeah, he'll be Duke.
But read the next bullet point.
Yes, because he would like to have Rise of the Beast Mirage and Cobra Commander in this movie. Yeah. So if it's 5 Joes and 1 Transformer, you know who the Transformer is. It's Mirage.
Well, but also Hemsworth wouldn't be the Optimus Prime to Rise of the Beast Mirage.
Listen, we don't know what they're doing. People get recast all the time in movies.
Yeah. I think Hemsworth is going to be Duke.
Yep. a
Yeah.
Duke, Mirage, and Optimus, and so 2 and 4, and you'll put
Well,
yeah.
I mean, you
I
have
don't know.
Cobra Commander and Destro, and just a bunch of cannon fodder, and then that would give you a chance to do like a Lady J or Snake Eyes or something on the Joe side.
I mean, I'm glad they're keeping the cast small, because I feel like a lot of trouble with these movies is like when you overbloat it with too many characters. But at the same time, it's like 6 seems like really tiny. Really tiny. Because Rise of the Beast had, what, probably 10 Transformer characters in it overall? I thought that was fine. So,
Yeah.
I
mean, one thing a small cast could mean is more Transformer characters because of the cost.
Right. I mean, we'll wait and see. I am one of the people, like, I have no problem with G.I. Joe, but at the end of Rise of the Beast, when they did the stinger for like the G.I. Joe, oh, it exists in this universe, I think my exact words were, oh crap. So
I'm excited for it. I just think it'll be a lot of fun if Lorenzo can just let the creative people be creative and just keep his hands out of it. And sadly, I don't think that's going to happen.
He obviously
No.
can't. Hasn't
We'll
even
just
started
have to wait.
shooting yet, and he's already got his hands all in it.
Yep. Well, it says fans have been asking for this for ages. Have we?
Well, I mean, we haven't been maybe asking for what he's going to do, but we've been asking for the crossover.
Mm-hmm.
You may have. Again, nothing against G.I. Joe, but at no point have I said, you know what I really want after all these really crappy Transformers movies? A crappy crossover with a franchise I don't care about.
I'm talking about in the 80s.
Oh, well then, yeah. Okay. Never mind. I rescind my comment.
I don't want the live action G.I. Joe movies and the live action Transformer movies. Like, I haven't been asking for those to come together.
Okay, good.
But
good.
Yeah, in the 80s,
oh my God.
we kind of got that in season 3 with the old Snake, the Only Human episode.
On a stupid side note, I recently had to convince my best friend that there was no crossover movie in the 80s. He thoroughly believed he saw one on the shelf at like video stores. And I'm like, no, it's not real. It never happened. We would know if it did.
Berenstain Bears.
He has a big problem with the Mandela effect, and that's a whole podcast in itself. So let's move on from here. I don't want to keep going.
I just before we leave that, I actually did have something like that go on for years. I would tell people about it because I swear to God, I watched something as a kid that had the Ghostbusters in it, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and something else. They were all in the same show. And I'm like, okay, I was telling people, I'm like, that doesn't exist. And I would Google it, and I'm like, there's nothing would come up. And I'm like, did I make this thing up in my head? And then I found it.
Was it that anti-drug?
It was an anti-drug thing.
Yes,
yeah.
I knew exactly what you were talking about.
It they aired it like once, and I'm like, I saw this thing, and I'm like, my mind blew up because I was like, holy crap, I watch all these shows and they're all talking to each other.
And then later you're like, I am not crazy. I did see.
I am not crazy.
And it's like a crossover with so much crap too.
Yeah, it was. So I sat down and I watched it. It was only half an hour or so, but I watched it. And I was like, this is garbage.
Oh yeah.
I don't like this at all. This is terrible. But yeah, and I think it was only one Ninja Turtle and one Ghostbuster or something. But my mind put all of them in it. And so I thought I definitely Mandela affected a part of it, but it doesn't.
But it still existed.
Yeah.
And I knew what you were talking about. You're not entirely crazy.
I'm not entirely crazy. No. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on with the show, and we're going to move on from media news, and we're going to go right into our review.
All right, we are reviewing Void Rivals number 10 this week. This is written by Robert Kirkman. Art is by Lorenzo De Felici. Colors by Patricio Del Pesce. Letters by Russ Wooten. Editors Ben Abernathy. And we're going to jump right into the synopsis here. Begins in Zertonia as Premier Zaliak gets a call from the Agorian leader and father of Derek, Dulin. Dulin asks about his son, and he's surprised to find out that his son's execution has been delayed. Once he realizes that they escaped, Zaliak abruptly ends the call. In the Wastelands, we see that Springer is embarrassed that his battle with Proximus is taking so long. However, he's happy that none of his friends are here to see it. Then he gets an idea. Perhaps someone that is so trained to fight hand-to-hand won't be so comfortable fighting a vehicle. He transforms into his car mode and runs over a surprised Proximus. Meanwhile, Derek is examining the green key that Mistress Ville gave Solia. Handroid can't tell him anything about it other than that it's really old. Suddenly, Solia wakes up and she kicks Derek in the face. She grabs him by the throat and tells him not to touch the key, and then she passes out again. Derek decides it's best to just return the key back to her pocket for now. Proximus is determined to beat Springer despite what form he takes, but Springer still has some surprises as he transforms back into his robot mode and he activates his wrist blasters. These send Proximus flying, and as soon as he lands, Stinger stabs his body with his sword, ending the fight. Springer then looks for Derek and Solia, and he finds Derek carrying Solia, saying that she's been getting worse. Springer quickly goes to secure Proximus's body, only to find that he got away by separating an arm and a leg, and he's no longer anywhere to be found. Then he focuses on seeing what he can do for Solia, and he transforms back to his vehicle mode, and he drives the two into the hangar. Springer's been here for a long time, and he used his crash ship and local materials to construct a lab underneath the hangar. He's not sure how much he can do to help the organics until Derek removes his helmet and Springer sees the gem in his forehead. What Derek calls his mind eye, Springer recognizes as an energon port. Seeing that Solia has one as well, he now knows he can help. In her mind, Solia is being spoken to by a voice. The voice is telling her to awaken, and she's confused as she doesn't feel asleep. However, the voice says that all Zertonians and Agorians are sleeping, and she's going to be the first to awaken, and then she'll wake the rest and unite their people. She realizes that she's speaking to Zerda, and she promises to serve her as she's always wanted to do. Zerda asks Solia to find her, and that this quest has already begun years ago by the Agorian, Derek. This quest is going to be difficult, but she's already been given a key. As soon as she hears this, she wakes up to a surprised Springer and Derek staring at her. Wondering why they're staring, she then sees that she's glowing pink, and Springer explains that the energon is doing that and has healed her. The light will fade once her energy levels stabilize. She grabs her spear and she demands to know what he did to her, and Derek calmly tells her that Springer saved her life, and then he realizes that she means exactly like what he did. Springer then explains that energon is the form of energy that his people use as food. Her people are organic, but at the cellular level, they have a synthetic nature that seems Cybertronian. Also, the sacred ring that they live on is generating energon for a reason that he's not sure of yet. Derek remembers the word Cybertronian, and he says that that's what Jetfire called himself. Springer's now surprised. They know Jetfire? Derek says that that's a long story. And Solia's glow has faded, but she's feeling much better. Springer then tells him about his world and the civil war that decimated their planet. The Autobots left in search for a new source of energon, but he remembers a legend of a Cybertronian that was early in their history that had rebelled and left to find a new path. Her name was Zerda Trion. Solia is now surprised at hearing that name again. Well, part of the name. Then she asks what the Trion means. Springer says it's a title that was only bestowed on two of his kind, and it means great wisdom and authority. She's not sure if she believes all this, but Derek says that with all that they've been through and seeing Springer pour glowing liquid into her head, It makes as much sense as anything else. Before Springer can tell her more about Zerta Trion, they hear an explosion from the surface. Earlier in Zertonia, Zaliak realizes that the signal from Proximus has been lost. He then orders a squadron to go to their last known location. It's overkill, but he's determined to finish this quickly. As Springer, Derek, and Celia race to the hangar, they're surprised to see the squadron of tanks and soldiers at the entrance. Derek says what they're probably all thinking. Well, it really felt like they were going to live through this for a minute there. To be continued. All right, so I really enjoyed this issue. I thought that we're finally getting some backstory. For all of you that forgot that they were actually on this ring, we got the ring mentioned again. The fight I thought was pretty good. Like seeing Springer transform to one of his modes, and then just getting all the lore, introducing Zerta Trion, and the Energon and stuff. I'm really enjoying the lore and the stuff they're building here, especially with the Quintesson stuff from, I can't remember if it was the last issue or the issue before that.
It was the last issue.
Yeah, where they were like, Zerta was the name not to be mentioned or something. It's clear the Quintessons have something to do with these organics, like their development as well. So this is a nice kind of addition to the whole mythos that we're getting here. And the art I thought was really good. It's been pretty consistent through the series, but I really enjoyed it. I thought Springer looked really good in both modes. And even when it would go to like Derek with the fight in the background, you can still kind of see what's going on. I like that continuity of what's going on in that place where you don't always see the previous scene in the background when you're seeing a new scene. It's just really good, really enjoyable. And I was kind of dipping on the series a little bit, and this kind of brought it back up. I'm looking forward to seeing what to go in the next issue, what's going to happen. Although we know that with her new Energon thing, Celia is going to probably Deus Ex Energon all the tanks and stuff. But Dr. Pants, what were your thoughts on this issue?
I didn't get into Void Rivals until issue 7, but I am very much into this series and the whole kind of space opera-ness of it. I was really, really worried when I went back and read the first 6 issues, how Jetfire's in there for like 2 pages and then he's gone. And then the only bit of Transformers we get is, what's that character called? Is it Scuzzoid? Yeah. Like he's around, but he's a minor character in the Quintessons. I really like that Springer's been around for 2 issues now. He's done some stuff, and it seems like he might be sticking around because he has no immediate way to leave.
Yeah. Did you read the Free Comic Book Day story?
Yeah, with Hot Rod in it?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because he's looking for Springer, which if Hot Rod shows up, cool. Yeah. But I want to see Springer kind of be around with Derek and Celia for a little while. The fight scene was really cool. I did like that there was kind of like this respect between Springer and Proximus while they were fighting. And then Springer gets the idea of like, why am I doing this? I can become a car. You can't fight a car. And it kind of works. I will say, before I get into the thing I really, really love, I was enjoying the art in this series, but this issue in particular, I'm not. I love the style. But the artist is not consistent at all drawing human faces. Every single panel Derek is in, he has a different face.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
And it kind of drives me a little insane. Like, there are times when he has lips, other times he doesn't, and I don't know what the consistency with it is. His hair seems to change. I mentioned this the last time we reviewed this, but the gems kind of change shape depending on like what panel it is. The robot designs and the mechanical designs are really good. Springer does look good and everything. There is one moment though that I thought was funny, and it seems like it's a color error, and I don't know why it is this way. But the image, it's the panel right after he stabs Proximus, looks down and sees that Proximus has gotten away. His chest is yellow. Which is kind of funny because it's an error, but at the same time, it's like, oh, it's kind of like a nod to the G1 toy because the G1 toy had a yellow chest.
But his chest is green everywhere else.
Yeah. I thought it was just kind of funny. That's just a little nitpick. Honestly, the art, the style is cool. The inorganic stuff, the synthetic stuff all looks cool. Mechanical designs are great. It's just people faces. I actually prefer it when Derek and Celia have their masks on because I think they do a better job that way.
Mm-hmm.
I love where this is now going, where we're connecting it back to Cybertron, and there's this brand new kind of branch of, they've kind of expanded on the Trion mythos, where we always had Alpha Trion, and there's never been anybody else with the name of any kind of Trion, but it seems like it would kind of be a title.
Yeah.
And they expanded on that, and now, and this is funny because the first issue I reviewed with you guys, I asked, I'm like, are these people synthetic or are they organic? And it's like, oh, they're kind of both. So I really want to see where this goes. I want to see what the history is, and I want to see how the whole Energon, Cybertronian history of these people really kind of plays into it. And kind of what did Zertatrion do? Because they mentioned that the ring is there to generate energy, but the ring is also, according to their lore, it was two individual planets that came together. And it's like, did Zertatrion manipulate that to create something to produce Energon? Like, did that character have a hand in it or what? And I'm really curious to see where this goes. And I just want to see more Springer.
Right.
Because I don't know how much I've mentioned in this show. I actually really love Springer. He's one of my favorite characters. So the fact that he is like a leading character in this series now is like, yes, give me more.
And he doesn't have all the baggage he had with all the Wrecker stuff.
Right. Listen, the Wrecker stuff is amazing, but just seeing Springer just being a guy with a sword who can be a car or a helicopter is kind of awesome. Yeah. I do feel they're having a little trouble nailing down his personality, because I can't tell in this where he's kind of like lying with it, other than the whole fighting Proximus and having a little bit of honor stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm having a little trouble characterizing where they're putting him at. But he's only been in like 2 issues, so it's going to take some time. This has been a slow burn of a series.
Yeah.
I am really, really enjoying it though, and aside from the human-esque faces, it's good. I really, really like it, and I want to keep reading it.
Awesome. Daryl, I did notice that all the Autobot logos are stamps. So,
why do you have to mention it? Now I go back and look for it. I could have lived in bliss, Jeremy.
Well, he was going to mention it anyway. But outside of that, what were your thoughts?
I liked the fight scene. I thought the fight scene was good. I enjoyed the little thing that Dr. Pants mentioned, where Springer just decided, he was like, I'm just going to be a car and just run you down. I thought that was good. I liked how it made mention how, Springer has been here for quite some time and just kind of chilling. He's kind of made a home of it because he has no way of getting off the planet. And then he just kind of figures out that they're all kind of related somehow, with this kind of like Energon port, which is kind of weird. Like, what is it exactly? Is it some kind of like mouth, or how does it function?
Didn't show if it opens up or what.
How does it work? Because I always kind of assumed it was a jewel. Like,
mm-hmm.
How does it absorb the Energon? Like,
I
don't know.
Derek does say that he basically just watched Springer pour the pink liquid into her crystal.
That's what I heard. Like,
maybe
I read
the
that
crystal and just goes in.
So it's like an orifice, like.
We've all been assuming that these things are crystals. It might just be like a ring, and then this is a hole in the center.
I mean, they describe it in universe as a gem.
No, okay.
Yeah,
But
it's so gross. I just can't get that out of my head now that it just kind of opens up and just slurps up the energon. But anyway, I appreciated the all the fighting, and it was all kind of good, and then all the kind of like the story building around that, and kind of like bringing the two worlds together was kind of good. This is something that I fully expected the GI Joe books to do at this point, but they have not done. They're just kind of mentioning that they're in the same world. The noise at the end when they all kind of like, you know, realized that something was going on outside, I kind of wondered, you know, could they just hide there and just, you know, did they have to go outside? You know, because they all kind of ran at the, you know, at the door to kind of see who knocked, and saw this big battleship or all these tanks and whatnot. But what if they just left it alone?
Yeah,
and said nobody's home, kind of thing, right? Like,
right.
would
I mean,
they have gone
surely
away?
There was
like,
a door.
Yeah. So, anyway, anyway, I like the book. The art style on Void Rivals as a whole has not been my favorite. But this issue didn't bug me more than any other issue. But it's fine. I like I said, I enjoyed the fight scene. I had hoped that that Springer had killed Proxima, but we know he's not dead. So he crawled away somehow and is
there's unresolved brother sister issues between him and Celia.
Right, of course. So there's
and we
from the previous issue, we know he's just like in a suit. So it's not like he cut off an arm that was there, like that was his arm. He cut off the arm of the suit.
Yeah. So, but he's obviously bleeding somewhere, right? So, he's injured again, but he's just going to go and get another suit. So, whatever. He's not in good shape, but he's that's why you got to put 2 in the back of the head, little double tap, right? So, anyway, I thought it was a fine book, enjoyable enough. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, that is our review.
All right. Well, then let's move on to convention news.
All right. We've got some good convention news. First up, TFCon Toronto has announced that Victor Caroli, the narrator for G1, is going to be attending. This is his first ever Canadian convention appearance. So I am sure there's going to be a way for you to give him money in exchange for a voicemail recording.
Oh, definitely.
So figure out what you would like him to say ahead of time and be willing to hand over your colorful Canadian currency in exchange for, the recordings. Next up, we have a friend of the show, Andrew Griffith. He is a very, very talented and well-known comic artist. Daryl was showing off a little bit of his work in the trips to the store this week.
Mm-hmm.
So he is going to be attending TFCon Toronto. He will have prints and he'll have commissions. If you really want to get your commission done by him, contact him on social media, probably sooner rather than later, because he will fill up, I'm sure.
Yep.
And does great art, so make sure you check that out. Next up, and I think I have lost my
audio for this, so I'm not going to play the audio like I planned. But David K posted on Instagram this video, and in his David K style, like I think it was a kind of a movie trailer announcer style, he was announcing that he and Greg Berger are going to be at TF Nation 2024 in the UK. So that will be a lot of fun. They both voiced Grimlock, and when I've seen them at convention together, they always do kind of a dueling Grimlock thing at some point. So very awesome. Judging from some of the tags here, I think he's planning on having fun, because one of the tags is like beans on toast, which is apparently something they do over there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's really cool. And I think that is all I got for convention news.
All right. Well, that's fun. Again, TF Nation, one of those conventions that we always want to get over to, but never can seem to do it. But those two announcements for TFCon Toronto is one of those conventions that I am always at, and I'm very excited about going to see Victor Caroli. I never met him before, so that'll be kind of fun. Yeah. Right on. All right. Well, we are going to end the show with some feedback. All right. And we have got, looks like one piece of feedback from the YouTubes, and it is from Fanimator 101. And they said, the standing ovation for TF1 gives me hope for the movie, and the artwork they showed at Anansi looks slick. Right on. Yeah. The standing ovation is very cool. Yeah, I expect they don't give those out willy-nilly, but yeah, the artwork looks great, and yeah, I agree. The artwork looks great, and I think it's going to be much more of a kids movie than we were expecting when we look at compare it to like the live action movies, and that's fine. The best movie still, arguably, of course, is the '86 movie, but that was made for kids. We were all kids.
That's so dark. That movie is so.
I know, it's so dark.
They don't give kids enough credit nowadays.
Yeah,
let kids see the darkness.
That's right.
Yeah.
Let kids get trauma, and then you'll have fans for life.
Right.
You know, a movie's good if parents are writing letters about how their kids left the theater crying.
Exactly.
Right, but at TF1, I mean, it's gonna be a kids movie, but it still looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it looks like a movie that we can all enjoy.
That's the hope.
Very much so. Right on. Well, thank you very much for your feedback. And if anyone else wants to leave feedback, it's easy to do. You can do it on the YouTube video, or you can leave us feedback at transmissionspodcast.com/feedback. There's a fancy little widget there where you can just kind of click record and record your voice, and it'll send it right to us. And yeah, we love listening to the voicemails sent that way. Or you could just write us an email the normal way. So yeah, you can do that. But that's going to do it for the show. So before we end the show, we want to thank our Masterpiece Donatreons. These are the people who support us at the highest level. And thank you very much to John Forex Levengood, Demon Tech 82, and Steve C. These guys are the best, and they know it. So thanks again, guys, for supporting us and making the show what it is. And yeah, and thanks to Dr. Pants. Thanks for coming out again this week. It's always nice to have a third, because Jeremy's a good guy, but I get bored talking to him. It's just me and him, and we can't, it's just we can't have the banter that we can with a third person. So
yeah. We need that third opinion to break the tie on
That's
whether
right.
G.I. Joe deserves to be in Transformers.
I mean, it deserves to be there, but whether we enjoy doing it or not is a whole nother thing. But you guys know I always enjoy being here, and if I can, I will be, because I love to talk about robots.
Right on. All right. And I think I'm not sure when the next time you're on, but I know for sure I'm seeing you in Toronto. So
Yes,
we
you
will
are.
see you there. And thanks for being here, Jeremy. As much as I see you all the time, I know that you will be away soon too.
I'm
So-
going to be gone for a couple weeks. So.
Yep. So this is your last week for a couple weeks, right? So, yeah, I'll still be here. I'm always here until I'm not, because there's a couple weeks coming up that I'll be away as well. So that's not until July.
Man, this summer is just going to be a mess for
Everybody's on vacation.
I'm not on vacation. I'm going away for work. So,
Oh,
yes.
well then.
Yes. I'm going to
TF
Newfoundland. I'm going to Newfoundland for work. So if anybody's in Newfoundland, I'll be there for work. So
let Daryl know where the good comic stores are.
there are two in
all of Newfoundland. There's only 2 comic shops
in the city that I'm going to. There appears to be 2,
okay.
and I will visit them. But I am more importantly, I want to know where the lobster restaurants are. I want to know where their all-you-can-eat lobster is, because I will go there every night. So yeah, also where those sea bugs are.
Yeah. Also, Paul Eiding, Voice of Perceptor.
Paul Eiding. Yeah.
That's it. All right.
God.
We'll see who listened to the end of the show by the feedback we get.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. I'm gonna fall asleep right here. It's very late. Good night. I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Transmissions. If you'd like to join the conversation, travel to our Discord channel at transmissionspodcast.com/Discord. Want some cool transmission swag? Feast your eyes on our transmissions gear at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. If you'd like to support our podcast, go to transmissionspodcast.com/support or tell your friends about our show. We'll see you next time.